back from Home Depot for a little yard work today. We've got some projects to do, got to fix a fence, and all the exciting things. And in my field trip today, I was listening to a podcast called Think Like a CEO with Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, co-authors of the book, The One Thing. Anytime I get to listen to Gary Keller, it's a great day. The man is so smart, and I always so inspired by his stuff. So if you have a chance, go check out Think Like a CEO as a podcast. It's amazing. All right. So here was the thought. Gary was actually interviewing a gentleman by the last name of Cunningham. I don't remember actually his first name. And in their conversation, the thing that stood out to me was that, we're in a crisis. That's what they're talking about. An economic crisis, a global crisis. And they were talking about, all the things happening right now with the economy and, just all that's happening. Yes. Okay. That's the context. So what's interesting is they're talking about how you're going to have to, reinvent yourself. You're going to have to, when there's a crisis, you have to shift your strategy. When the economy is in growth mode, a lot of times the way that you are making decisions are from a growth perspective. But when a crisis hits, you have to shift your perspective, and ultimately you're trying to protect cash flow, right? His guest had said current expenses, he didn't say it quite this way, I can't even remember now. Current expenses impact future cash flow. So if you have a lot of expenses right now, that's going to consume your future cash flow. And so basically we're talking about tightening up the budget, etc. Well, I want to point this for a second to some reinventions that I am looking at, and that you also may need to look at. So I didn't make this decision a year ago because I could foresee a crisis happening, but the decision I made a year ago was a perfect iteration or reinvention of myself for this particular time. And that was going into group programs. At the time, a year ago, I was doing one-on-one coaching work, and I had a marketing agency, which was very expensive. Agencies have a lot of overhead. There's a lot of moving parts. And I felt called to create a group program. And so that's when my program, the Groundswell Method Intensive program, started. And we are still going today. We're in the 7th cohort of that program. And I work with people for 6 weeks at a time as I train them in their own marketing. How do you find your message? How do you have that message start to feel authentic to you? How do you feel empowered by it? How do you produce it and broadcast it to the world? But I moved my work from doing solo independent work to doing group work. Now, pause. First lesson. Some of you I know do individual one-on-one work. One of the reinventions you may want to consider is how could you be do your work, make your difference with groups of people rather than individuals. So let's move into lesson 2, because what I started to notice was that I was able to bring my prices down, right? If there's a crisis and people aren't willing to spend as freely, you are going to have less people willing to hire you for the transformative work that you do. So you're going to have to find more ways to offer your products, your services at a price point people can afford when they feel a financial pinch. Okay. And group programs allow you to do that. Why? Because when you bring more people into the program, you actually have some economies of scale. You actually have the ability now to make more money. You can actually gross more money while charging your people less. Do you see? Like, it's a win-win, actually. And so that this is lesson number 2, which is that there is a scalability as you start to figure out how to do group programs. Okay?